Does it need a high and welcome or not? No, we've done that. Yep.
Welcome back.
If there's one thing guaranteed about Auckland weather, just hang around for 10 minutes. It's likely to change, and already this morning we've seen some changeable conditions and again the threat of rain. It is a little bit cooler, but I tell you what, the engineers on these race cars have been scratching their heads for the last couple of hours deciding what to do with setups, whether or not they were going to have to go to wets, but it's certainly been a little bit of a challenge, Strakey, but not too hard.
No, but the thing is, Jamie, if it starts raining, what's going to happen is we haven't seen rain here for 4 to 6 weeks, and therefore it's going to pull a lot of oil and bits and pieces out of the track. And to talk to us more about that and the track temp is Mark Pedersen down in pit lane.
Yeah, cheers, guys. At the moment, track temperature, 27 degrees. When we saw in race 1, it was actually 30+ degrees, so 5 degrees cooler, which does add to that problem the engineers have got, trying to get that tyre balance right.
So air temp, Mark's probably just a little bit lighter than that, around that 24 mark?
Yeah, actually not much different, Jamie, to be honest. We're at 25.5, so yeah, good luck to them all.
Yeah, you can just see there's some heavy cloud to the east of us here at the track. The wind direction is northeast. Just 15 laps, not an awful lot of opportunity to have to go to wets and make that change, because it's probably going to take the better part of maybe even up to 3 laps, you would think, with just over the minute mark with lap times if they have to, but we'll see how they go.
And we've been caught out before, Jamie, too, with guys changing tyres at uncertain times and proving us wrong. So buckle up. This could be interesting if the heavens open up finally here in Auckland, North Waikato, as we look on board with championship leader Simon Evans.
Top qualifier for both qualifying sessions for races 1 and 2. Race 1 winner, of course. But he's got Andre Heimgartner starting alongside of him here. Let's see how they line up for race number 2.
So there's Simon Evans off the pole, and alongside him is the young charger, Andre Heimgartner in the Hydrolink Commodore. Row number 2, Dom Story and Mitch Evans, 2 GP3 stalwarts together. Row number 3, Tony D'Alberto, the Australian, for his first sprint race event, and alongside him, Tim Edgell. In row number 4, it's Mitch Cunningham, the Cunningham Construction Ford, and alongside him, the newest man, Sean Varney, in the Simply Leasing Ford, and there he is on screen now, in that wonderfully presented Falcon.
Onboard camera systems, Dominic Story and the SG Fleet Holden. Great qualifying effort for P3 for this race. It's a little bit quiet in race 1, just didn't quite have the car speed of some of those in front of him. But looking for a better run here. Mitch Evans, 4th place in race number 1, will start from position 4. Like Dom, just struggling with a little bit of car balance from race number 1. Jeff Slater and the team tuning that car up overnight. Not in that position, Simon Evans. That car was very, very good for race 1. Not too many changes between races 1 and 2 for the championship leader. So getting ready for racing here at Hampton Downs, race 2. The Rush Security Waikato 250, round 4 of the Hankook Super Series. Windscreen wipers on. There's just a little hint of rain in the air. It is very, very humid. Mark talked about the air temp being around that 25-degree mark. Humidity, Shane, is probably up in that 90 percentile range. It's very, very humid outside.
It is, but not here in commentary. It's rather nice, actually. So, but it is rather difficult out there. And more wipers. And I just noticed there was either some very light puddles or smoke coming from Varney's car. So there could be a couple of little damp patches. Let's look at this fantastic shot as they come into turn number 4, head up to 5, B&T hairpin, and then we rejoin them on the straight.
Well, certainly windscreen wipers are on.
Guys, the reason for the windscreen wipers on is Mother Nature's trying to a bit of a trump card now, and she's just starting to open up the heavens for everybody. So 1, 2, turners 1, 2, 3, could be interesting.
Windscreen wipers are on. There's a little bit of rain just starting to come in before this race start. We'll catch up with Mark Pedersen. Mark, there's some more rain in the air?
Guys, there's plenty of rain in the air. The pit lane is actually going from being a nice dry condition to wet, so turn one could be interesting.
Oh, yeah, look at the onboard here with Dom's story. It is definitely raining here at Hampton Downs. There was some rain overnight. The track was wet earlier on this morning. It has dried out. There's been some other classes out on the racetrack. On board with Mitch Evans, tucked up in behind Andre Heimgartner, down to the start. 15 laps. And the weather is going to throw something into this mix as well, potentially. Simon Evans off the pole. Got a great start in race one. Great first lap, and he had about a 6-car length lead over D'Alberto and Heimgartner. Have they got anything? Lots of wheel spin off the start. You can see the attitude with the Evans car off pole, but he's got the jump down into turn number one. Mitch Evans in turn, he's trying to go around the outside of Dom's story. And to the outside of Heimgartner.
He's going to go
Evans.
right round the outside.
Oh, 3 wide. This is going to be tight. This is going to be tight.
Oh, there we go.
Story off, and there was contact to the right.
Something more going on here.
D'Alberto's got around.
Heimgartner's
got around. Varney's off in the gravel.
Well, it only takes one. It looks like Story
and Cunningham.
Story just tried putting the gas down, and now we've got a smeg 1-2. The Evans brothers out front. So
Mitch Evans around the outside. They were 3 wide. Oh, D'Alberto's got major issues that may have broken the Watts linkage in the property tutors Holden.
Oh, that's going to cause a safety car or even a red flag if that car can't be moved.
Unfortunately, that car had a similar occurrence with contact at Pukekohe. The third and final race of the weekend with Angus Fogg at the wheel. Well, what's going on here? Okay, we know they were 3 wide. Evans leads them through. Story down the inside of Heimgartner. Mitch Evans to the outside. Now, there was contact that looked like Story to Heimgartner first, and then Story to D'Alberto. That's what did the damage to the rear end, and right front damage there to Story.
It was either Story that started it.
Oh, Mitch Evans has gone off. Mitch Evans has just gone off. That's down into turn number one. So it's obviously very, very slippery out of second place. And the order is just all over the place here inside the first lap. So Simon Evans, your race leader. D'Alberto's out of the car. There's the race leader, Evans, on lap 2. That'll put Tim Edgell up into second. Windscreen wipers definitely on. There is drama here at Hampton Downs. Mark down on pit lane. Is there more? Is it getting heavier?
I'll tell you what, I mean, how long do you need when a driver's out of a car on the side of the track to put a blooming yellow flag out? And a safety car for that matter. For goodness sake.
Some smoke there with Sean Barney just in the background there, Shane, on the safety car. He went off track through the one of the gravel traps. There's Story into the pit bunker.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was him that caused this whole thing or whether he had some contact from D'Alberto, because D'Alberto was sniping there in the background.
Mark's going to have a look down there. We'll have another look here. Right. So there's Story down the inside. D'Alberto's just... the contact, it certainly was Heimgartner and Story to start with. Evans was to the outside.
Yeah. Okay, so looks like Dom might have just fed it too much jandal, and oh yeah, the Watts linkage broken there in the property tutors car. You can see it hanging down on the racetrack. So that's not
on board. This is off the back of Simon Evans. So Story, there's contact there, certainly the start of it.
I think it's just Dominic just you know, fed it too much throttle, slippery conditions, and it caused a massive chain reaction. And
this is Mitch Evans. Oh, he's just locked up the rears.
Well, I'm wondering whether he actually got a knock as well.
Mark Pedersen down in pit lane. There's a fair bit going on here.
Yeah, there is, guys. Look, I'm here with the Dominic Story car, sorry. This damage here to the rim, okay? All the cosmetic stuff in the front, they can fix. Piece of cake, these guys at race tape. This here, guys, this is the big concern for them, because in the part of the suspension, there's a little bolt that holds together the A-arm. There's a very good chance that bolt has been stretched or bent in that accident. If they continue and that snaps, it's going to be catastrophic for these guys. Spoke to the D'Alberto car as well. They said it's broken something in the rear. Pretty undescriptive of exactly what it is.
Yeah, we could see the Watts linkage hanging down on one of the replay shots. I'd say it's knocked the rear end out of the car, Mark.
Well, that'll be it. Look, the Heimgartner car is behind us as well. Just getting the old race tape magic fix on it, so they'll be back out shortly.
Tell you what, Mork, if you get an update from Jeff Slater down in Mitch Evans' camp and just see whether or not he sustained some damage after that sort of big off at turn 1.
Roger.
Yeah, that was an odd one.
Yeah, it wasn't awkward. I mean, it could just easily been a down change too quick, but he was involved in that and gave him as much room as he could.
Shane, you actually hit the nail on the head before. Okay, it's pretty slippery down here at the moment, and it's the first time it's rained here for quite a number of weeks. So the minute they get a little bit of moisture on this track, it is just going to turn into an ice skating rink. Now we're looking at the Varney car here, putting some power steering fluid into it. Bit of a smoke going on, actually a fair bit of oil coming in from underneath the car. Tony just down here. So look, they'll get their thing going, but you got a wet track, shiny track, and oil as well. It doesn't mix for very well conditions, does it?
Oh, Heimgartner, he's got more dramas. It's broken the right front of the splitter. Now, that car's already been into the pits to try and get some sort of fix going.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't helped. And that answers my question with what Mark just said from pit lane about Varney and whether or not he was going through water and there was smoke. That power steering issue was happening on the warm-up lap. So Heimgartner will have to drag this car back in, and either something has collapsed down there or it's just the splitter, but it's got a lot of looks like it's got a bit of extra camber or toe out there on the
with the impact too, and where that bumper hangs, it's obviously bent the bracket that retains that, because it's dropped that whole right side of the front splitter. So out of all this on the safety car, Simon Evans, Tim Edgell, Mitch Cunningham and Mitch Evans are the only 4 without any damage from that race start.
Yeah, well, question mark hanging over Mitch Evans. Now it's just, there goes Heimgartner. He puts it into the pit garage, and I don't think they're going to be in a big hurry to fix that thing by the look of it.
Very experienced Luke Dinsdale heading the team for Andre Heimgartner. Still under safety car conditions while they extract Tony D'Alberto's property tutors Holden.
Race management.
So Tim Edgell and the Chesters Holden now sits in second, so that's a good little start. Mitch Cunningham recovered well from that turn 3 off. There's Aaron Thornton down there in the middle, Luke Dinsdale on the right.
As I said, Drakey, very experienced team. Mark's spent a lot of time with the Australian GT Championship, running for the Melbourne Performance Centre with their Audi R8 GT3 cars.
Yep, Aaron's off to 12 out next weekend. A little bit more urgency in it now. There's Mark Heimgartner over in the background.
Not a lot of subtlety going on there, is there?
Well, without, I mean, this is a quick fix now, because otherwise you've got to pull the front splitter off, you've got to pull the wheel off, you've got to give the guard a bit of a tweak. So it's a temporary measure to see whether they can get that thing up far enough that it doesn't rub on the wheel or on the track.
Yeah, just hear Mark in the background saying it's been a couple of things.
Doesn't look like it's actually going to be easy to fix. Sometimes you can do a quick tape-up job. Other times it's rather structural, and it bends all the brackets in behind the splitter.
And a lot of that safety car lights are out. We're going racing. Simon Evans, tricky conditions. Mitch Cunningham lining up Tim Edgell. Going to have a look down the inside, and he locks up the brake. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. That was a long way back. He locked that up.
Yeah, well, I think he realised that, this track's actually not dry. Tim missed the start, and therefore gave Mitch the chance to have a go. So, well recovered.
So nearly at the halfway point of this race, believe it or not. Most of the laps have been under safety car. What a bizarre one. So Simon Evans, I certainly thought at the start of this race with Heimgartner's car speed in race 1 that he would have something for Simon Evans, but that's now negated with the problems in the pits for Heimgartner. And likewise Tony D'Alberto, just taking a little bit of stick out of it. Certainly made things a lot easier for the championship leader Simon Evans out the front in the Smeg Commodore.
Well, he's just got to really just stroke it now and not do anything. He doesn't need to go out there and break the lap record. He can serve tyres and, you know, just he's a bit of a pioneer on the racetrack, as we just saw some spots on a camera. So
yeah, there's still rain hanging around. I mean, Mitch Cunningham's got the windscreen wiper on, so really tricky conditions.
Guys, talking about tricky conditions, I'm down here with the Timmy Edgell team, and they said it is so slippery out there. Timmy's actually asking for wets, and it's dried up.
Wow.
He said it's probably amongst some of the slipperiest conditions he's ever raced in.
Well, that's as you said, guys, with, you know, the oil and everything else coming back up through the surface. While it's not streaming wet, it's obviously enough to make it very, very slippery. Mitch Evans with a nice pass there on Mitch Cunningham.
Was a good pass.
Two former Toyota Racing Series champions.
And just for everyone at home, this track has, for the last 3 weeks, had massive meetings with Formula 5000s, lots of single-seaters, which have a tendency to drop oil everywhere, smoke with, you know, the oil tanks sitting out the back of the car. So
yeah, I think they've had upwards of 200 cars over the 2 weekends on the previous weekends here at Hampton Downs, so certainly a lot of traffic. But you're right, with some of those older classic cars, they do tend to be a little bit fragile and dumping various deposits down on the racing surface, which makes it even harder. Oh, Angel just locked up the rear.
He's still going, he's still going.
There was a big lock.
Yep.
He's got Mitch Evans chasing him down.
Oh, look at this big
Evans
move,
down the inside. Mitch Evans back through to second, where he was before the restart when he spun after all the carnage in the opening couple of corners.
That was that move come from a way back, and he probably lined Tim up because Tim had it all wrong at turn 1, and therefore his speed exiting turn 1 wasn't as good. And Mitch nicely through the number 5 Smear car down the inside. Now he's after his brother.
So Mitch Evans in the Paul Manuel Holden Commodore, formerly Event 3 Racing, just leasing the car for the weekend, just a one-off appearance for Mitch Evans. Wasn't overly happy after race 1. Jeff Slater and the team just tuned it up a little bit overnight between races 1 and 2, and at the moment looks to have a pretty good race car going.
Well, I was just looking at the times because I'm just thinking this is going to suit this guy. A little, you know, dodgy conditions and the car moving around a lot, a little bit like a single-seater, so to speak. Unpredictable. Oh, look at that.
A little bit of a moment there for Mitch.
He could be having a lot of fun here.
He's hustling. Well, just about identical lap times for Simon and Mitch, but yeah, Mitch has definitely got the eyes on Edgell back to third, Cunningham in fourth, and everyone else pretty much is on pit lane after that turn 1 episode. And we've got Mark Peterson down on pit lane with Owen Evans, and some interesting equations maybe coming up here. Hawk?
Guys, I reckon I'm sitting in the pit lane. I'm probably one of the most nervous individuals we can find. So, Owen, what do we do in this situation? We're up Simon leading the championship. We've got Mitch being the hard charger. What do you do?
I'm not too sure, because I meant to have a talk to him yesterday to say, hey, listen, I don't know, doesn't worry me what you do, but just don't hit each other. And I forgot to have that talk. So it's too late for that now, so we'll just have to see what plans down the track. But, you know, I think Mitchell, you know, knows what the story is. You know, if he can go past Simon first square, I have no problem with that at all. It doesn't matter about the championship. You know, he's here to do a good job as well, you know. But, you know, if he drove to the side of Simon or they both tangled and went off, I'd be pretty disappointed. But it's good having 2 spare cars up front, and, you know, the sponsors have got on board to get Mitch here. You know, and he didn't even test the car until we got here, and so he's just, it's a big learning curve for him, and yeah, he doesn't like coming second either, but he's just doing the best, and, you know, it's good, and I think it's just great, you know, for SuperTourers let us have Mitch a ride this weekend so he could be here for all his fans, you know.
Cool. Thanks, Owen.
Forgot to have the talk. Okay. Well, the last time these two physically raced together was back in Formula Ford. Drake, I think we spoke about it earlier on, and the coverage would be at least 5, 6.
I reckon it's about
7 years.
I reckon it's about 2007 or 8 or something like that, Jamie.
Simon Evans, lap 10 of 15. Fastest lap of the race at 105.13. Mitch 105.23. Tim Edgell 105.9. Cunningham 105.9s. Fastest lap in race 1 was a 104.923 from Andre Heimgartner, and that's extra bonus points as well. 105.0. Oh, that was a little off there for Mitch. He's obviously trying hard. Gap just 1.7 seconds.
It's bigger than that now as they head down to turn number 4.
He lost 3/10 on that lap. Simon's just set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:05.089. It's going to be a fair amount of work for a couple of the teams in pit lane to get the cars turned around between races 2 and 3. Mork, further update on Heimgartner?
Yeah, guys, look, we're just down here now. There's a fair bit of panel beating going on. There's actually damage to the front of the chassis rails, hence why they couldn't continue, unfortunately.
Just the sacrificial part of it, not into the main rail. I would have thought the contact was hard enough to get into that.
Yeah, it has actually just pinched the front of the main chassis rails. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, a bit of frantic work going on.
Well, you'd be surprising how, when a car snaps like that, of how much force when it hits the front of a wheel type thing. It's a fairly decent hit. It's almost like hitting a wall at times.
Similar arrangement to the V8 supercars with the way that they mount, and again, back in front of the car, as a sacrificial sort of part of the, so it doesn't tend to get into the rails. We've seen some big accidents in supercars over the last 12 months where, a lot of chassis damage has been sustained. So Simon Evans on lap 12 with 15, 105.1 last lap. Mitch has just dropped off now. Tim Edgell's closing that gap. 105.9 for Mitch Evans, 105.5 for Edgell. Edgell took 4/10 out of him on that last lap.
It's good. The 34-year-old from Auckland, very much a family team. There's Paul Mallard.
Hey buddy, you're doing well. You've got 3 more laps to go. Just keep it up. Keep pushing on. Evans is falling off, but just that nice pace is good. Clear gaps.
Yeah, Paul's just sort of replicated what we've just said. Yeah, Evans, Mitch just coming back into the clutches of the Chester's Holden. Tim's 34. I used to help Tim and Randall Edgell when Tim was karting as a 10-year-old. I'm now feeling very old.
Yeah, you just put your foot in it there, mate. But no, good little battle here, and as I said, a great family team with his father Randall as the team engineer, and Paul, who's also family. He runs the whole outfit, very clinical, well involved in rallying.
All of those on track, and Heimgartner, Varney, Story, they are all family teams.
Yeah, that's the difference.
The families are a big part of the setups of these race cars here this weekend, certainly with the Evans family.
Yeah, good point, Jamie. While V8 SuperTourers is a business, they mostly are families, so it's quite different from V8 Supercars, where it's a lot of love in this sport here.
Mork, another update from pit lane?
Yeah, have guys got an update on the Dominic Story car. This is the steering arm that's come off it. This is a brand new one, nice and straight. This is one that's come off the car, as you'll see, probably 45-degree angle, so hence the retirement.
Yeah, that would explain that one pretty easily. So Sean Varney's got back out there after some power steering issues. Simply leasing Ford Falcon. So he's only a couple of laps down, so he will be classified as a finisher and 5th. So not too far away from the end of this one. Simon Evans in control out in front. Mitch Evans has just picked his pace back up. The gap back to Tim Edgell. Just on 2 seconds. And a similar gap between the 2 Evans brothers.
So Varney, 21-year-old, and loving every minute of being in this category. They've had a lot of problems with this car, and as we saw them topping up power steering, oh, here we go, he's got into a big slide into one, nicely controlled.
Yeah, that had him working hard. Paul McCarter has raced in the BMW series, through the NZ V8s as well, now into the BNC V8 SuperTourers.
Again, a lot of family involved. He's throwing that thing around a bit, isn't he?
But there's Simon Evans down to the line to take the last lap board.
Well, his brother's got the prize for the fastest lap so far. He's gone into the 4s.
Oh, 4:49. Actually, that was on the previous lap because he's just done a 5:0. So Mitch Evans has lit back up and he's driven away clear from Tim Edgell. 3/10 on the last lap, but yeah, 104.94 for Mitch Evans. The former Oryx, now Smeg Racing Commodore's got some speed at the end of this one.
Well, I think Simon's probably just taking it easy. He knows he doesn't have to do anything too silly.
Well, it's a bit of a fairy tale here.
Fire up for a formation.
Formation finish 1-2 for the Smeg Racing team. With a temporary entrant in for the weekend with Mitch, maybe we can keep him around. How important potentially is it going back to Europe to do GP2?
I'm sure you put it off for a week.
I think that might be up there on the importance scale somehow. On board with Simon Evans, bringing it to the line for win number 8 in the BNT V8 SuperTourers. Evans, 2 for 2 for the weekend, and it's a 1-2 for Smeg Racing. Third place finish for Tim Edgell. Fourth place finish for Mitch Cunningham. Two-time race winner in the championship. Tim Edgell, from memory, he's had a couple of wins as well over his career with the BNT V8 SuperTourers. Sean Varney will be the fifth and final finisher. It's win number 2 for the weekend for the championship leader Simon Evans in the Smeg Racing Commodore. So what a bizarre race that was. Simon Evans with the victory, just 0.6 of a second ahead of Mitch Evans, his younger brother in the end. Tim Edgell in third ahead of Mitch Cunningham, with Sean Varney a lap down in fifth, with DNFs for Heimgartner, Story and D'Alberto after that clash at the start of race 2.